Hello. Okay, everybody. I got the green light to go ahead. So, my name is Allison, and I am the author of the blog RefunkingJunk.com, which seems completely weird that I would ever be called an author or a writer. But I'm going to tell you guys a story about me, which is the girl who's not an expert in anything. I started my blog as a creative outlet in 2010 to showcase furniture painting projects that I was doing in my home. So I've been in banking since I was 17, and I've been in banking for 14 years, and I just wanted a creative outlet. So I started a blog. I have no web design background. I don't know anything about blogs. I just started a free blogger account and started showcasing my projects. Because I was a banker, I was a total cheapskate. And so I would go to garage sales and buy old furniture and paint it and decorate my house because I like it to look nice and expensive, but I didn't want to pay the price tag. So I started my blog, and years went by. It was just a hobby, and we started carrying a paint line for a brand new company called C.C. Caldwell's Paints, and it was no sanding and no priming. And they approached us to carry their product, and at the time I was teaching furniture painting workshops as a hobby because people that read my blog wanted to know more information. And so since I already taught workshops, they thought it would be a good fit to carry their brand new paint line. So I started carrying their line, and about 8 months into it, my husband, I had a 10-month-old son, and he said, I had a really hectic travel schedule with the bank, and he said, you're going to have to quit your job. This has gotten way out of control. We were invited, I'm from Oklahoma City, so we are regular DIY contributors on the KOKH Fox 25. And so it was like I was living a double life. Like I would wake up at 5 in the morning, do my craft segments or my DIY segments, and then I would put my suit on and go into the office like nothing ever happened. And so I had painted my hair. My assistant was like, girl, you better get it together before you go in this meeting. And so he told me I needed to quit my job, and I was like, that's okay, we'll just shut it down. Like, I'm not interested in being on food stamps. This is never going to work. You know, we're going to be in the poorhouse. So after a lot of convincing, I quit my job to run my blog and my business full time. So this is not to tell you that I'm anybody fancy. It's to tell you that I have no background in HTML, blogging, writing, furniture painting. I'm not an expert in any of those things. Okay, so I'm really excited to come off of Danica's talk because we're going to dive into even more specific information about how to, one, run a retail or run any kind of small business through social media or through your website and blog. So you don't have to be a DIYer, crafter, or any of that. You can just own a business, and a lot of this information will apply to you. So Fox 25 calls me a DIY and handmade lifestyle expert, which I just think is hysterical. I was like, what? We're calling me what at this point? So I didn't make that up. And the reason why they say I'm a DIY and handmade lifestyle expert is because I have positioned myself in social media to where people think that about me. Okay, so we're going to show you how to become an expert in your niche, whether you are or not. I would say that a lot of our success around our company and business is because I'm just an average person. And if I can paint furniture and make it pretty, if I can run my small business, so can you. And so I think that's what really gets people excited. There's people that haven't picked up a paintbrush in 10 years, and they come to our classes because they see that they can do it too. So anyway, so here's just some of my key points on social media, and then we're going to dive in to really specific cases where we get a lot of traction on social media and why we think that these are successful ways to build a community around what you're excited about. So social media should be fun. It should not be stressful. It should be a rewarding activity that you see. You get sales, you get traffic, you get interaction with your customers that make you excited and motivated to keep going. You're going to choose 1 or 2 platforms where your customers are engaged, and then is also within your comfort zone. So I keep hearing, you know, pick a couple of social media platforms. And I'm going to show you guys how to decide what the best 2 or 3 are and how to stick with that. And unfortunately, part of that is not in our control of which ones we pick to work all the time. So I'll show you how I decide which ones I'm going to work and where that information comes from. For me, I have 1 full-time employee, and then I also have my husband, who I just say is my unpaid man boy. And so he is not on the payroll, but he just gets rewarded in other ways. So we are 1 person, okay? We cannot do it all. So don't be disappointed if you cannot post to 87 social media accounts, okay? Nobody can do that. If you're posting to 87 social media accounts, you're not going to get the engagement that's going to be worth your time to do that, okay? And then show your personality and be 100% authentic. Don't be somebody that you're not on social media. I would say the main reason why I can make a living doing what I'm doing is because people get to know me as a person through my blog and through social media, and they will root for you as a person, and they want to see you be successful. So I think when they're talking about putting your face as a profile, that is so huge. I had my logo forever as my profile pic, and I just asked, what do you guys think? Should I put it as my picture? I posted it on Facebook and Instagram. Overwhelmingly, people said, put your picture on there. And I wanted to hide behind my logo so badly, because unfortunately, I'm an introvert. I hide behind my computer. So it just felt uncomfortable, but I'm telling you, people will root for you if they see your face every day. And they will want to give you their money, and they will want to give you your business. So your blog or your website is your greatest social media tool. It should all go back to that, okay? Facebook is not your biggest social media tool. Instagram is not your biggest social media tool. Where your business website or blog is where the foundation of your social media is. And it really just drives me crazy when I see people, that is not a way to communicate with your customers. Because you don't know who's on Facebook or who's on Twitter or who's on Instagram that day. So it drives me crazy when people say, if you signed up for a class on Friday, make sure you RSVP. Okay, well, I guarantee you 1% of the people that are signed up for your class are not going to see that on Facebook, okay? So that is your social media tool, is your blog, your Facebook, your website, your email list, your text messaging, alert system. That is where the foundation lies. Make sure your readers or people that are visiting your website know where to find you on social media. So have those social media icons at the top, very large, where people can pick where to find you. Do not have it at the bottom, very small. No one's going to see that. It needs to be at the forefront, because most people are only on maybe 1 or 2 social media networks. So they get to pick and choose how they interact with you. So put that at the very top, very large. Use social media and the relationships that you build on there to grow a community. So in my case, I have built a community. I don't have the most humongous following, but I have a really tight-knit group of people that love the same thing. So if you are into graphic design, you have people that want to get inspired about graphic design. You have people that want to learn more about graphic design. You are building a community of people who care about the same things. Or if you have a cupcake store, you are building people that love cupcakes. They love cupcake recipes. They like to decorate cupcakes. So if you're a home stager, you're building a community of people who are realtors or people that want to sell their home or are excited about making their home look awesome to sell it. So think about that when you're posting online. Build a tight-knit community of people who love the same things. So now that I'm getting off the soapbox here, so these are the social media places that I hang out. So I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, Facebook, Google+, YouTube, blah, 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 blah. It is really difficult to get traction on every single one of them. So I will tell you how I decide where I'm going to spend the most time. And although I post equally probably on every single social media outlet, and I use a lot of the automated tools that will go to everything at the same time. So in my opinion, I don't feel like it's up to me where I hang out. It is up to where my customers are coming from. So this is my Google Analytics from my website. And this is like a 10-day snapshot of unique visitors. So Google was our #1 refer, which is good because we don't want to rely on Facebook for everything because unfortunately, if they change their mood one day, then I may not get traffic from Facebook. So we don't want to put all of our eggs in the Facebook basket, or we don't want to put it all in the Pinterest basket. But, so most of that traffic is organic, or coming from Google. So Pinterest is our #1 refer. So guess where I hang out a lot? Pinterest. And if you do not have Google Analytics on your website, please leave here today and get that installed. I had a web guy do it for me. And so please make sure you get that installed. So all I did was pull up a report here that shows me where my traffic came from, referring. Then where it says m.facebook and then Facebook referral, that's the mobile Facebook app and then regular Facebook on a computer. So that's around 5,300 referrals hits to my website. So then under that, we see, there's no Instagram, there's no Twitter, that's not even on the radar. So although I still post to those, most of my interaction comes from Pinterest and Facebook. So we're going to dive into what that interaction looked like and how to post on there so you know that your people that follow you are going to see the content that you are posting. Because unfortunately, Facebook has a pay-to-play model, which kind of sucks. So we're going to talk about how to get around that. Which really irritates me. But, so, just some fun facts about Facebook. Facebook users are most engaged out of all the social networks. So, 60% sign in every day. Almost all users have a Facebook account. So, if anyone has 2 social media accounts, one's going to most likely to be Facebook, and then one's going to be a secondary one. And then, 50% of internet users only use Facebook. And then the average user spends 55 minutes each day. I mean, that feels like a lot of time to me, and I am posting on there all the time. I don't feel like I spend that much time on there. And then search engines look for Facebook activity in relation to keywords. So if someone types in Refunking Junk, Facebook's going to be on the first page of that Google search. So that is why it's important. So here's my Facebook profile header here. So I'm just going to talk about the key components. And I designed this graphic. I'm not saying that I did a good job, but you don't have to be an expert to have a nice looking page. I made this in PicMonkey.com. So even a banker like me can figure it out. So it's pretty easy. So use your same profile pic in every single account that you have. So all 10 of those accounts that you post to or whatever has to be the very exact consistent profile picture. Because then when they see you and they find you on Twitter or Pinterest, they're going to go, oh, I already follow her. Or I have people all the time say, oh my gosh, I follow you on Pinterest. You're a real person. Because I saw your face and I remembered what you look like. So universal profile picture. Make sure that your page has your business name or your blog name. Try to get that to match up. Sometimes it's already taken if you have something common, so you may have to get a touch creative with that. Make sure that in the information area there, your website or your store information. I have my store information on there where we sell our products because a lot of times that's what people are looking for. If you're mainly a blog or a website, then you would want your blog or website address on there.
I have a question about that.
Yes.
Do you put prices on your store information?
I have a plugin. I sell online, so we ship to all 50 states in the U.S., and I have a plugin on Facebook that is my shopping cart. So, yes, people can look on there and see what our prices are for the items that we sell, and they can buy from Facebook. I have never had one Facebook purchase that I can think of. I have it on there, but just because if someone feels like browsing, but I don't think someone's going to make a decision to buy on Facebook. They'll probably go to your website.
Well, with my own personal experience as a buyer, consumer, I will not purchase from an entity that doesn't have prices. If I can find a price, then I go with the price. Because that just saves me so much time. It really does.
I don't like when things are not priced. Because I feel like people are going to decide what the price is based on what their mood is when I ask them the price. And so it is, did I ask in a nice way? Did I action? And how I posted it. So this one is a personal story about how I chopped my hair off and I went home and drank way too much wine. And then I got pregnant, so I guess that was a good thing. I don't know. So we don't know what happened after that.
Good haircut.
Thank you. So this has nothing to do with furniture painting. This has nothing to do with running a small business. It was me making fun of myself for how dramatic I was being about cutting my hair. And it was about me as a person, about my personality. And so I shared, this was a link only. So I took the link and put it in the status bar, and then it showed a snippet of the blog post, okay? And so this says 8,472 people were reached by this link. And 147 likes, comments, and shares. So a lot of people had a lot of things to say about their own haircut stories. It was awesome to see everyone get on there and say, oh my God, I've had a terrible haircut. One lady was like, well, I'm a psychologist, and I just think this reaction is completely normal that you're having. And I was like, thank God. Because my husband was like, you are insane. Okay. I mean, I was like, I can't, we're not going to church. I can't go to the grocery store. You're going to have to get gas in my car. I mean, I was like, thinking of ways that I could become a recluse and never leave my house. So it was awesome to see everyone exchange their bad haircut stories, okay? So we see that this was content that people wanted to discuss, okay? So think about that when you're posting, okay? When you're posting, is this going to have conversation? And unfortunately, not everything is going to be, that you post is not going to be conversation worthy like that. But the more that your audience engages, because I got to work Facebook because that's where people come from. So unfortunately, as much as it just gets on my last nerve, that's where I got to go, because I posted the same thing on Twitter, the same thing on Instagram, the same thing. And guess where all my clicks came from? Facebook. So, unfortunately, that's where I gotta hang out, even though it gets on my nerves sometimes. So, this is where we see that content is big. as far as engaging your community. So another way to get lots of discussion around your content is showing customer testimonials. So I teach classes, and then I have people that buy paint from me that we're in 3 retail stores, so I don't see a lot of the customers because I'm not in those stores. But I always tell people, send me your before and after pics. I want to see your transformation. So this is someone who sent me their before and after pic and just messaged me on Facebook. So I said, look at this awesome before and after. Then the person who did it went as far as to tag themselves. Yeah, buddy. All their friends are going to see that. Okay, and then I messaged her back and said, thank you, this looks awesome, I just posted it. Everyone's just raving about it. So she was so proud of herself, she tagged herself in it. So when you tell your customers or people that read your blog, my stuff is awesome, or this paint is awesome, or my cupcakes were the best, or my home staging is, I'll sell your house in 2 days. But when your customers say it, that's when people believe it, okay? So that's why it's so important to get those customer testimonials. And so this had 6,524 people reached, 188 comments, 11 shares. So that was not me saying, look at me, how awesome I am. That is someone else saying, I bought this from you and look how awesome it is. So think about that when you're posting on Facebook or wherever. That is so important. Okay, here's another one. We talked about getting your nose pierced and asking a question. This was a question, which pattern do you like? I'm going to do a pattern on a piece of furniture. 235 comments on what people thought. And then there was a lot of discussion. See number 3, under that, which you can't see very well, it says 3. But everyone got an argument that that was a 5. By the way, that's a 5. It says 3 under there. So this is, again, this is engaging conversation around your content. 6,444 people saw that. So the more people are commenting and liking, Facebook says, this is worthy content, let's show more people. Then more people comment and talk about it. Then Facebook says, let's, again, show some more people. So the more engagement you have, the more people will see your information that you're posting on there. So this is a blog post of a dresser makeover. And this, I just did the picture, and then I did the link to more information about it. So, again, this was 6,048 people, 165 likes, 23 comments, 23 shares. So a lot of people shared that one. So if you're in a creative business, pictures are where it's at. We want the eye candy. We want to see the big, bright, beautiful photos. So I share photos and just a link a lot to get more information. And those will get the most shares because then who they share it to will automatically see what they're talking about because they have a big picture there. So, the content, personal stories, customer testimonials, ask a question, and inspiration. Those are where I find the best content is. Unfortunately, I don't get to always talk about that because I have to sell workshops, and I have to talk about sales, and I have to talk about other things, but that will show up more in the feed the more your other stuff's talked about. So the ways you can share it is by only sharing the link, only sharing a photo, share a photo and a link, and my last resort is text only. I rarely do text only. And again, I'm in a creative industry, so photos are big time for me. So, number one referrer besides Google is Pinterest. So, I know I'm not a big Pinterest user because Pinterest uses me, okay? So, I'm not on there a ton, but other people pin our stuff a lot. And that's, again, a big source of where we get our referrals from. So we're going to talk about pinnable images, participating, and how it is the new Google.
So how many pictures do you have available on Pinterest?
I pin every image from every blog post. So if there's 5 photos, I pin every one. But when I pin it, people go, that's her pimping herself out again, here we go. So people don't, it doesn't feel as authentic when you pin it. But when someone else pins it, that says, this is awesome, look what I found, come see this.
So do you put information on every picture of who you are, that you're bragging?
No, I think about, and I'm going to show you here, people are going to Pinterest like Google. So when I was looking for, if I'm looking for, I want to see cute, I want to see statement jewelry with a blazer. Then I would put in statement jewelry with the blazer, and I would see images come up of that. Or if I want to buy a new juicer, I will go to Pinterest, because that is a recommendation of my 1,000 closest friends that have said, this is a good juicer, or these are great juicing recipes. So I think about when I pin my stuff, what the keywords, if I want someone to look up, if I painted a dresser in milk paint in the color typewriter, which is a black, I would put in Miss Mustard Seeds milk paint a dresser in typewriter, all, black typewriter, whatever. So when someone put those phrases in, I would know that that would come up. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So think about your keywords. So here is my top 3 pinned images, and this just baffles me in some ways. So this one right here is someone that is decoupaging a piece of paper onto the top of a table. And this is a lady that I did a private lesson for, and she came over and I said, guess what? We're going to blog about this, so I'm taking pictures of you, sorry. And so this is an action shot. This is, if you look at top 10 pictures that referred, this comes up 10 times in a row. I mean, this is like #1 gold mine traffic for me. And it's an action shot. She has no shoes on. Okay, she's using a paper plate. I mean, oh, she is so cute. But if I was going to put money on what my most pinnable image would be, this would probably not be it in my mind. So that is why it's so important when you have pinnable images to pin every single one, not just the one that you think is going to be the money shot, or you think is going to really get people excited, because it's usually the one that you least expect is going to be, is what's going to get people interested. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yes.
So if I have a blog post, or I have instructions or a tutorial, and it has 6 pictures, I'm going to pin every single one of those. And I'm going to have a description in every single one of them. Because it's just like playing the lottery. I just don't know which one people are going to get excited about. So then, also, painting fabric. This is #2 top pinned image on Pinterest. So here I have completed project, banner and words. Here is what this pin is about. Okay, in my mind, this would be the perfect pin, because it says what it is. So this is a great example of a pinnable image, because people will see that in their feed and say, this is about painting fabric. They will know what that's about. Whereas the one with the Mod Podge, you wouldn't say, this is about Mod Podge. To me. I mean, I guess the paper plate and the roller, that wouldn't be the first thing that would come to mind. So think about, what you're looking at and what it's going to say to the person on Pinterest. And then this last one is just a mystery to me. This is a piece of furniture that someone brought to one of my classes, and this was the before shot. And she had the worst spray paint job on here, and this is one of our best Pinterest pins. So I have no clue. I would wish I could tell y'all this is why. I have no idea. So it is like not inspiring to me. if I was being real honest, okay? The aftershock was awesome after we saw what she did to it, but the shot, so that's why it's so important to pin every image, because you just never know what people will get excited about. Okay? So, participating on Pinterest. Like and comment on other pins. So when you like, there's that little heart button. You see something you like, you may not repin it, but you want to hit that heart button and be engaging with other people on Pinterest. And then you're going to get more followers on Pinterest too, and people are going to be more likely to interact with you. Then you want to repin from other people that you follow, and you need to pin often. Honestly, I am not on Pinterest a ton. I mean, I think I have 1,100 pins. Like, the girl who works for me, her mom has 11,000. I'm like, what are you doing all day, woman? And so, I pin and repin. I'm on there a little bit, maybe 15 minutes every day. I pin on my blog post. You know, I get on there if I have some idle time. But I use it like a Google search engine. For me personally, I want to know the best chicken casserole recipe, or the best margarita recipe, or whatever. So be pinning and pinning often. And then you want to install pin it buttons to make pinning from your site easy. And like I use a WordPress plugin. So on the plugins, you can just search for pin it button, and they'll give you options on what plugins you can install. And then there's also a website called Code It Pretty. You can find pin it buttons on there too. But if you do not have pin it buttons, some people will think this person does not want me to pin. Because some photographers or some magazines or some industries have copyrighted information and they do not want that pinned. And so if you do not have it on there, especially like I have HGTV has pinned some of my images. If I didn't have it pinned on there, HGTV would not have pinned it because they would be scared that I did not want it pinned. So that tells people, I want you to pin. So if you do not have it on there, you will not get pins from people. And then if you really want to know a lot about Pinterest, this Pinterest Power is an excellent book to read. And I've read it, and it's really good. I have a friend who's featured in here who has makeup brushes in a jar with rocks holding it, 17,000 pins for that one image. So it talks a lot about how to engage people on Pinterest. It is just a Pinterest world, and we're just living in it. Okay. Instagram, like my favorite. I love Instagram. I get almost no traffic from my website from Instagram. But I get tons of engagement on there. So it's because people in a creative industry love pictures. And so that's why it's so important to be on Instagram. Plus, I think it's just a fun, you post different content on Instagram than you would on Facebook. More personal things. So I just think it's a fun way to get to know someone in a different way. So here's just some statistics, and I'm not going to read them to you all of them, but it's more geared towards 18 to 29-year-olds. So if that's your target market, you better be on Pinterest, okay? Most of my audience is 35 to 50. So that's why I don't get a ton from Pinterest or from Instagram. But I still really like it. They get on there daily. They use it multiple times a day. They spend 257 minutes a month. 68% are females. They're about half and half, Android and Apple users. 150 million active users. 55 million photos uploaded every day. So lots of interaction. Instagram engagement is 15 times greater than Facebook. So the audience is smaller, but the engagement is much higher. So it's a lot more return on effort for Instagram. So again, make sure people know where to find you on your website. You can also in your Facebook profile or in your Twitter profile put the link to your Instagram account on there so people know where to find you on Instagram. It is a great place to sell your products, or if you're selling something. Anytime, like our workshops are $200 per person, and anytime I post about them, the one will sell. But I don't post about selling them that much because people know when you're trying to sell them something, and if you're like cramming it down their throat all the time, they're not going to want to see it. So I just occasionally post about selling classes on there. Mainly it's more personal stuff. We're talking about projects on the blog and things like that. Great place to engage with others. You can connect with brands or other people. So anytime I'm like wearing shoes, then if I'm taking a picture of my outfit, I'll tag who made the shoes. And then they share with their friends or their following that you did that. Or if I did a duct tape project, then I would tag duct tape in that, and they would know that I use their product, and they will probably share that with their followers on Instagram. So make sure you're tagging and connecting with other people on there. Again, we're visual people. We love eye candy. We love the big, bright pictures. So I think that's why Instagram is so popular in a creative industry. Again, it's different content than what you have in other platforms. So on there I would post more things about my family. Like when we had 87 snow days in a row, then I was like showing ways that I was entertaining my toddler. Like I got a cookie sheet and brought snow inside because I was sick of being outside in the cold all the time. So I let him play with that inside on a cookie sheet. And so that got tons of discussion because that was cool ideas for moms on there to play with their kids inside. So I would probably not share that on my Facebook page. Just more personal things is what I post to Instagram. And again, like I said, the more people get to know you, the more they will be willing to buy things from you or to follow you or to be excited about what you're doing. They will be invested in what you're doing right alongside you, so they will be a loyal reader or loyal customer. I love Instagram because it's a loyal playing field. It doesn't matter the size or how much your pocketbook is. You cannot pay to play on Instagram. You can't even post links in your description. Like if I want to say go to my blog, I just got to say the words, go to my blog, because I cannot post a link in there. So everyone gets a fair playing field on Instagram, which I really like. Another great, you can add words to your photos. Rana Designs is an app, and they have like super cute, crafty fonts and glitter and arrows and all kinds of fun things. So that's a fun app to use for Instagram or even on Facebook or whatever. And then InstaNote will allow you to add words to your photos also. And make sure your blog or your website is in the description of your Instagram profile. Also, take advantage of sharing on Instagram. If you post a picture on there, you can connect your other networks on there and do that all in one place. So if you post it on Instagram, it will go to Twitter, Facebook. And then also the video, if you just click that video button, you can do a 15-second video. And that is a fun way to do something different too. Okay, here's Twitter. People in the visual, crafty industry, a lot of people think that Twitter is a dying bird. And I am on Twitter, and it is my, I have the least following on Twitter. I participate, I tweet, but I think it's because people that are excited about the same things I am are not hanging out there because they want to see the pictures. So as much as I just want to work Twitter and make it fun for me, It just doesn't work because I just think people that like the same things that I do aren't hanging out there. But I still hang out on there. So everyone at every brand, company, magazine is on Twitter. But the least amount of engagement happens on Twitter. So these statistics say. I feel like it's a fast-paced conversation. So it says 40% of users read tweets, but that they don't tweet their own tweets. So link to your other social media outlets like Pinterest or Twitter for the eye candy that our peeps love to look at. And then you can make your stuff automated using TweetDeck or Network Blog, since my blog posts out automatically. So, but what I love about Twitter is, I mean, it's awesome to say, I think it's so true about people are just bystanders on Twitter most of the time. I mean, don't y'all like watch Real Housewives and then get on there and look at the Real Housewives hashtags to see like if they're talking trash on the outfits? Like, I may not engage in that conversation, but I want to see what other people are saying. Or like the Oscars, I want to see what people are saying about the Oscars. I may not have anything relevant to say about the Oscars, but I want to see what other people are talking about on there. So I think that's true, and don't get discouraged if you don't get engagement on there, because most people are wallflowers when it comes to hanging out on Twitter. And I've had some really cool interactions. I mean, I have had several of the hosts from HGTV say stuff to me about my projects on Twitter. David Bromstad, him and I are like Twitter BFFs. From, I can't think of what his show's called now, the Design Star winner guy, but he always is telling me how much he loves my stuff. And so I would never get to connect with him probably on Facebook or in another way. So it is a great place to hang out, regardless if you get a ton of interaction on there or not. Don't get discouraged. And I don't even know how much time I have left. Someone tell me what time it is. 2:37. Oh good, I'm running right on time then. So, the main message, regardless of whatever you got out of this conversation, is that, yes, content is king, but engagement is queen, and she rules the house. Okay? So, if you're not engaging and your people are not engaging, it is not worth your time. Like Danica said, you got to sit back and rework what you're doing. You can be posting the most awesome content, and I hate when I see people that have awesome content and tons of conversation around that, but you never see them follow up, or you never see them interact in the conversation. It's like me getting up here and saying, Pinterest is so good. No follow-up to that. No Q&A. So engage, build a community around people who are excited about the same things, and social media will work for you. Okay? So any questions? Yes?
Do you use your Instagram and your Facebook and all that? Is that your personal and your business combined? You don't have separate, do you?
I do have a separate Facebook for my personal and then one for my business.
Okay, but as far as Instagram, if you're going to post a personal picture or a
It would
business
all fall
picture-
under my business. I don't have separate for the two.
Okay, so even though they're separate, do you still interact for yourself on both sides?
You know, I don't do that much personally because I feel like social media is sort of part of my job, and as much as I enjoy it, I don't have that much to say after I'm done doing it all for my business. So I use Facebook a little bit. Like I was coming up here to Tulsa, so I asked my friends, where's the best place to eat in Tulsa? You know, I might do that, but I don't do that much personally. And I think that was a great question that you asked earlier about what's your comfort level. You will know if it feels compromising. I mean, there's times where I posted something I thought, is this fun? And then I just felt cheap and dirty, and then I deleted it. Okay, so you will know. You will know. I mean, it wasn't anything like that, but I mean, if y'all want to follow me and see, that's fine. But You will know what feels comfortable to you or not. You'll know if it's right or not for you. Yes.
Can you just go back to the slide where you had, search engines, look for Facebook, and then you said something else?
What I will do is I will get a notebook, and you guys put your email addresses down, and I will send you the link to this presentation. Because I love having stuff to print out and look at. It drives. I just like to have that to refer to. So I will get that out, and you guys can write your email address down, and I will send you the presentation.
You send it to me, I'll get it to them.
Okay, sounds good. Yes.
What Pinterest has recently changed their terms of service, and a lot of people in my niche have been using third-party sites like pinwood.com to get repins and likes and engagement from third-party sites. How do you feel about third-party sites using that for repins for Pinterest?
I think you can smell a third-party site from a mile away. It just seems so authentic to me, inauthentic. And your people that follow you or looking for your content, well, they can tell that you paid someone to do that. And I mean, on my blog, I do sponsored posts and I do product reviews, and I get paid to do that. And I only do it for companies that I am excited about and I think my readers will like. But I will never get paid to pin something for someone. And I think people don't want to get sold on Pinterest. I think people that are actively using it can tell, in my opinion. I would unfollow someone if I saw that they were doing that. Anything else? Okay, well, I just thank you guys so much.